All right, everyone, we have a new trailer for Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 2, the Scargiver, the Child of Fire, whatever the hell he's calling. I don't really care. I was not a fan of Rebel Moon Part 1. Matter of fact, a lot of people were not fans of Rebel Moon Part 1, despite being marketed as, the Star Wars killer. The upcoming greatest science fiction film of all time from auteur director Zack Snyder. Turns out the movie was actually awful. And it was one of the worst movies, if not the worst film of 2023, although it did have stiff competition last year thanks to things like You People and Five Nights at Freddy's and Aquaman 2 and Expendables. But Rebel Moon, it stood head and shoulders next to a lot of those awful, truly terrible films. And, of course, after it had its, 2 weeks, it was like a fart in the wind, forgotten. But then I realized Rebel Moon Part 2 was going to be coming out soon, since Snyder started doing the rounds on various publications, various podcasts. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast making ridiculous claims like Rebel Moon Part 1 would have been the most watched movie of 2023. It was actually seen in theaters, and it would have made even more money than Barbie, would have made over $1.6 billion. Just truly either insane or stupid things. And and all in preparation for the release of Rebel Moon Part 2, before we get the director's cut of I guess Part 1 and then Part 2 and then another director's cut of combining both films and then probably another director's cut of it being black and white. This is just exhausting. This whole thing is just exhausting, and I have not seen this trailer yet, although I expect it'll be, filled with slow motion, a lot of knockoffs and rip-offs of scenes from other science fiction and fantasy films, and I'm going to guess a narration from Anthony Hopkins. I think he's going to come in there and narrate a little bit. I doubt there'll be any exchanges of dialogue or conversations between those characters, since they seem to just fear doing that in the last movie. But who knows? I might walk away thinking like, oh no, here's the story, here's the character stuff that I wanted from that original movie. But I don't know. I doubt it. But let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer. I'll come back with my thoughts. You come back with your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll tell you what I think of this. Hello. It's that lightsaber. There you go. That didn't take long. Didn't take long at all.
Their nightmare is you and I fighting together.
You must know
It's the deer robot.
you cannot win.
You're all here
Oh, we're gonna have a conversation. Oh my God.
because there is nothing to return to. Dark days lie ahead of us all.
He's in a placenta.
We will teach you how to fight. That's impressive.
The Scargiver's among them.
I thought she was the Child of Fire.
Most dear.
I don't know what she is.
I shall destroy them.
This music's terrible. Oh my God.
I have no
Superhero
choice
landing.
but to fight.
There's the narration. Oh, going insta-kill mode. It's more slow motion. God, there's so much slow motion. Oh my Lord. Slow motion within slow motion.
Are you truly prepared to allow this to continue in your name?
Every shot slow motion.
I won't allow this place to die for me.
Hate that gunner character. I mean, the seeds are in slow motion. The seeds again. There you go. Yeah, let's see. Zack Snyder, what's he responsible for? What is he giving us? He's doing everything for this one, isn't he? Let's see. Hold on. Rebel Moon Part 2. Story by Zack Snyder, screenplay by Zack. That's a huge. But both of those are big. Those are red flags. Those are red flags. But it's the story by Zack Snyder and screenplay by Zack Snyder, and those two Zack Snyder wannabes, and directed by Zack Snyder. That's a little too much Snyder for me. I think that's a little too much. I mean, it's what I predicted it would be. You know, it's a lot more action scenes, a lot of slow motion, a lot of scenes ripped off from other big sci-fi fantasy films, stealing from Star Wars. Not borrowing from Star Wars, stealing from Star Wars, and stealing it quite poorly, I might add. I just don't care. I really don't care. I've always struggled to understand what some people's fascination is with Zack Snyder as a filmmaker. He is incredibly derivative of so many other people. He seems to have a profound misunderstanding of the basics of storytelling, like a beginning, a middle, and an end. He doesn't really seem to understand how to have characters exchange dialogue and have conversations. It's very bizarre, and he's gotten worse as a filmmaker. He hasn't gotten better. He's gotten worse, and he's indulged in the things that I think make him such a terrible filmmaker. And I mean, nothing in here indicates to me that it's going to be addressing any of the issues and what a lot of issues that people had with that original movie, Rebel Moon, Part 1, the Child of Fire, whatever the hell it was called. It just seems to be more of the same from him. And the other thing is, why don't they just bombard the planet from orbit? Why don't just they're told, you got to kill these people. He got the word for, I don't give a shit about the grain. I don't care about the grain at all. Just kill them. Kill this little rebel moon. Kill this little rebellion. Just let's bombard them from orbit then. Why are we doing a land invasion? It doesn't make any sense. We have this massive dreadnought, this huge star destroyer, one might say, literally just shoot some fucking some torpedoes, some missiles, your phaser guns or whatever, your laser beams. Just shoot it. I was like, no, we're gonna do a ground assault. Why? They don't have any vehicles. It doesn't. Oh God, just so silly. Oh Lordy, Listen, I despite what some people might say, I really don't particularly care to talk about, Zack Snyder as a filmmaker, because I just don't think he's a good one at all. And the more he talks, the more he goes on and does these shows, interviews, and podcasts, I think he just shows more of his ass and his ignorance and his arrogance as a filmmaker and as a storyteller. If you want to even give him that, if you want to put that the next to his name, a storyteller. And I'm just I just don't really care. And I feel like a lot more people are catching on now to him. I think, and I talked about this in a previous video of mine, where after I did my review for the film, I did a video called "The Big Lie," that is the Snyder Cut, and where you had this phenomenon with really, I guess the Snyder Cut, the whole idea of it started with Batman vs Superman. They released the Ultimate Edition and everything. That's still, it explains some things, filled in some plot holes, but it's still a bad movie. It's still a very terribly made film, Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, whatever. And then you had the whole Justice League of it all. But then I think the idea of a Snyder Cut has just been, it's always attributed to him, the director's cut, if you will. And I think Netflix Netflix and Zack Snyder tried to capitalize on that and create a faux Snyder Cut phenomenon, saying oh yeah, you're going to get Part 1, Part 2, but then you'll get the better versions of the movies. It's why don't you just release the better version first? Better, quote unquote. Just do that first. Why would you cut out apparently all this very important material? It's so important that it would make it a completely different movie, both movies. It doesn't make any sense. And I think they did that to drum up fan fervor, get his cult-like fan base to act, erratic and psychotic online as they often do. And I think it backfired. I think it really backfired. And I mean, you still had his fan base coming out and supporting the movie, saying it's the greatest thing ever. It's the greatest science fiction film ever made. But I think you had a lot of people go what is this? What are you trying to do? And that has backfired. And I think people are seeing him more and more as the terrible filmmaker that he has always been, in my opinion. And I imagine will continue to be if he continues to be indulged in this way and to continue to have his ego stroked, as he delivers crap. And I imagine this will also be crap. If it's not, I mean, if this is even better, this is like marginally better than the original film, be like, wow, hat off to you. Who would have thought? But I doubt it. This just looks like we're getting more of the same. And that's frustrating and really disappointing. But, hopefully, much like with Rebel Moon Part 1, it'll have its 2 weeks. And then, like a fart in the wind, it'll dissipate and it'll blow away. And then we won't have to hear about this franchise ever again, which is a good thing. Which I will be very grateful for. What about you guys? How do you feel about Rebel Moon Part 2, the Scargiver? Did you like the original film? Did you hate it as much as I did? Were you more mixed on it? And did you hate this trailer? Did you love this trailer? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.